Minister delivering a provocative speech, declaring that the rules that have governed global affairs for decades are effectively dead.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy.
Mark Carney telling business and political leaders in Davos that Canada has to accept a world where big powers are using economic might to coerce.
Great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
The Prime Minister urging middle powers to act together.
Because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu.
Carney not naming the U.S., but sending a clear message, saying it's time to criticize economic intimidation no matter what.
It means acting consistently, applying the same standards to allies and rivals.
The Prime Minister aligning himself with European allies during Donald Trump's latest economic threat against those resisting his bid to take over Greenland.
Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland.
How are you?
I'm fine.
While in Davos, Carney spoke with two key allies, Britain and France, countries on the front lines of Trump's latest tariff threat, after sending small contingents of troops to Greenland, viewed as a show of support.
We do prefer respect to bullies, and we do prefer rule of law to brutality.
Trump's Treasury Secretary urging countries not to escalate.
Sit back, take a deep breath, do not retaliate, do not retaliate.
For all of his bluntness, Carney seemed to do everything to ensure that he didn't directly name Donald Trump in his speech. The U.S. president is expected to deliver his own remarks on Wednesday, just as Carney is expected to leave. The Prime Minister's office says that so far there is not a meeting scheduled between the two leaders. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Davos, Switzerland.
CBC's chief political correspondent Rosemary Barton joins us now for some analysis into the Prime Minister's statement. So, Rosie, how significant do you think this speech is in this moment?
You know, Adrienne, the Prime Minister was, of course, partly elected on a promise to stand up to Donald Trump, and this speech makes it awfully clear where he draws the line when it comes to that. It was a clear-eyed assessment of the world as it stands now and what his government is trying to do to navigate that, but also what he and his government are not willing to accept. Here's a little more of how he explained that, clearly referring to the United States here.
You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination.
So Prime Minister Carney basically saying Canada will exercise its strength to defend its sovereignty and not allow itself to be at the mercy of a superpower. Carney connected the dots on how he's doing that, either by trying to build up the Canadian economy, trying to expand trading relationships with countries like China. And if the old world order is dead, as you saw there in Ashley's piece, this is Carney's attempt to put Canada at the center of what that new system will be, whether it includes the U.S. or not.
And so, Donald Trump, he didn't directly respond to the Prime Minister, but lots of people are wondering what the risks are here.
Sure. Obviously, we don't know how this is going to play out, whether it be the threats against Greenland, the increased tariffs, but this is, for sure, a calculated risk the Prime Minister is taking here. Perhaps weighing that it's more important to lay down some of these markers. This is a speech he wrote himself, Adrienne, to deliver a message about Canada's foreign policy, but also to say there is a limit to what the world should be willing to accept from what he calls the powerful. There has been, remarkably little criticism of the speech so far. That could change, though, depending on how or if the president decides to respond.
All right, Rosie, thank you. That is CBC's chief political correspondent, Rosemary Barton.